and wellness as a form of bypassing emotions and the inner work. And I know that can sound a little ridiculous. Like, how can people use something that's meant to be good for you as a way of bypassing the core of it all? And I'm here to say I've experienced both sides of the pendulum, with me actively avoiding emotions, turmoil, adversity, triggers in my life, to fully going head on and facing them through meditation, through stillness, through emotional excavation. But even in the search for healing, the rigidity and the search of health and wellness and all of the things that go along with that became addictive and a form of bypassing for me. And I'm not saying this is everybody's story, although I do see it quite a bit. And especially with people within the spiritual community, like I see people that have used meditation, breath work, ayahuasca, or plant medicine, any of these tools that can be used to, like, any type of medicine can be overused if we're not actually getting to the core of why we're searching for the medicine in the first place. All medicine is just a comfort. It's just a relief from the discomfort that we are seeking to relieve ourselves from. And I perceive this, that the goal, if there was to be a goal, would be to live life fully, to enjoy the ups and the downs, the flow of life, the natural up and down, the give and take, the masculine and feminine within, and to enjoy all of those things without feeling the need to fix anything, to see the divine perfection within the imperfections of the human mess. But to get to the middle and to get to that space, there is a great deal of pendulum swinging between the escapism in sabotaging or survival mechanisms, or escapism in the opposite side of the pendulum with health and wellness and the whole, like, healing community. It's about finding that natural ebb and flow, that harmony, because balance doesn't necessarily exist within this realm. Balance talks to us about an equal side. And I know for me, there are days where meditating for a few hours, meditating for me means being out in nature and being engaged with every little thing that comes about, being engaged in the present moment, being engaged with life and not engaged with this. Some days I need that for 3 hours, and other days I don't need it as much. Some days I'll run 5 miles, and some days I'll run 1.5 miles. It's all about harmony and the flow between. When we become, I don't want to say slaves, but when those ways of balancing own us and own our rigidity and what we think we need, we're out of whack. We are dissonant. We are not really paying attention to a natural ebb and flow with what our body needs. So it is true. I once was extremely addicted, to running, where I went from 0 miles a day. I never ran, to running like 9 miles a day, training for a half marathon right out the gate, and it landed me 2 surgeries. And then when I got into the healing community, and as much as I resisted meditation at some point became Also a space for me to not feel, to look at what was really going on, to not feel. All of those things were to not feel, right? Exercise is more so of a mind over body thing. Meditating is more so grounding into people want it to be a transcendental thing, whereas all of these tools, all of this medicine is meant to bring us to the body, to the core. They all kind of can also take us away from our core if we rely on that too much. So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with either, because I do feel, for me, most of my life has been about trial and error. Most of everything that I have come to find has been like, okay, this works, this doesn't work, and what worked then doesn't work now, and so let me see by experiencing what doesn't work in order to find what does work. So there is no wrong way of doing things. It is merely about bringing an awareness to the attachment to how we think things need to be in order for us to feel a certain way. So meditation, for example, and I spoke on this, where I resisted meditation like hardcore because I'm such an active person and my mind is constantly going and going, and like to slow down felt like a threat to my survival. But then at some point the game switched, and meditation and a yoga lifestyle became more so of an escape for me, because I became so in tune with what I needed to do in order to meditate, and the transcendental space that I could get to. It was a goal to transcend the feelings versus learning how to become aware of the feelings, how to feel the feelings, and how to release the feelings. And so it is a continuous effort to learn what it is that we need in the moment, and to learn how to feel. And like at the core of it all, nothing is wrong. That's the whole getting. That's the whole paradox, right? We do all of these things to understand, but like to really feel that nothing is wrong. There's a difference between being like, yes, it's all perfect, I'm fine, it's fine. Like saying those things, like knowing them, and like feeling them. Knowing that no matter what happens, you're perfectly okay. Like I can say them. I can logically know these things, but at times my body didn't know them. So what happens, and what, like all of these tools, meditation, emotional excavation, singing sound bowls, tarot and oracle cards, like what all of those can do, they are just tools to help illuminate in the ways in which you see or you think that things are not perfect. It's a whole mind fuck. It really is. But when you find a paradox, you find that there's a space living for the limitless possibilities, and for in the space of the unknown becomes space for anything, the limitless, to be true. And it's really up to our mind to release control, for our body to actually feel safe in allowing those things to be, and for our heart to be expansive and loving and curious and compassionate. And bringing all of those things together brings about a harmonious way of living and leading with your heart. If you've listened this far, thank you so much for listening. And I am Elaine with Heart Activation, and I guide people from living in their mind to leading with their heart. If you are curious about more of my services, you can check out my link in the description, and I look forward to connecting more with you.